You are making Americans less safe. If you're cutting the things that help keep America safe, why should we give you an extra $44 billion? Is it to deport American citizen children with cancer? Is it to deport more veterans of the United States military? Is it to ignore the Supreme Court's order to facilitate the release of a lawful permanent resident you mistakenly shipped off to a foreign prison? Is it to punish people for exercising their First Amendment right? Is it just to be mean, threaten, and deny due process to vulnerable people? These are not hypotheticals. These are things that DHS has already done under your leadership, or is trying to do, Secretary Noem. Your policies and actions are so bad that Republican members have been running and hiding from their own constituents, refusing to hold town halls because they know they cannot defend.
When a sitting Homeland Security Secretary gets accused of dismantling her own department, you know something's gone terribly wrong. Secretary Kristi Noem walked into this hearing expecting a budget discussion and got hit with a full-blown indictment of her leadership. Because what Democrats exposed today wasn't just mismanagement, it was sabotage from the inside.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Madam Secretary, to the hearing. Mr. Chairman, before we begin, I want to recognize National Police Week and thank the officers who protect our communities, this capital, and our country honorably and ably. We appreciate their service. As we observe National Police Week, I again call on the Speaker to follow the law and finally hang the plaque honoring those brave officers who defended the United States Capitol from a violent mob on January 6th. Over 140 law enforcement officers were assaulted that day, and honoring their bravery and sacrifice, as promised, is the least Congress can do. Turning to today's hearing, I'm glad Secretary Noem is finally testifying before the committee. After all, it's been 3 months since I sent you a letter asking for her to testify on the Trump administration's dismantling of the Department of Homeland Security and its harmful effects on communities across the country. Secretary Noem, I guess the chairman didn't think systematically dismantling the Department of Homeland Security, firing the federal workers who keep us safe, and violating the Constitution of the United States justified your timely appearance before this committee. But when Donald Trump demanded that Congress hand him money to do more damage to our Homeland Security, Republicans bent over backwards to help him and his billionaire friends at the expense of the American people. Whatever got you here, Secretary Noem, I'm glad you found time among your many photo ops and costume changes to testify about why President Trump is seeking more taxpayer dollars and what you plan to do with that money if you get it. And it is a lot of money. We're talking about $176 billion. That's how much President Trump has demanded that Congress give you to spend next year. Never mind the fact that your department is spending taxpayers' money so fast this year, you're about to be broke. Now you're saying you need $44 billion more, but all you've done is slash, burn, cut, dismantle, and tear apart DHS since you got here. You cut programs at the Federal Emergency Management Agency that help Americans prepare for and recover from disasters. You are unlawfully withholding grant money meant to prevent terrorism and respond to emergencies from local communities across the country. You cut programs at the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Agency, which prevents attacks on power lines, water treatment plants, schools, hospitals, and other critical infrastructure. You cut the number of transportation security officers in our airplanes. You cut the Office of Civil Rights and Civil Liberties, which keeps DHS from digging into Americans' private lives and violating people's constitutional rights. You are making Americans less safe. If you're cutting the things that help keep America safe, why should we give you an extra $44 billion? Is it to deport American citizen children with cancer? Is it to deport more veterans of the United States military? Is it to ignore the Supreme Court's order to facilitate the release of a lawful permanent resident you mistakenly shipped off to a foreign prison? Is it to punish people for exercising their First Amendment right? Is it to disappear more people off our streets with no due process and ship them to a foreign dictator's prison? Is it to fire more military veterans who continue to serve their country by working for DHS? Is it to slash efforts to fight persistent threats from foreign terrorist organizations and domestic terrorists? Is it to dismantle FEMA as hurricane season is about to get underway? Is it to decimate CISA and invite China, Russia, Iran, and other adversaries into our cyber networks? Is it just to be mean, threaten, and deny due process to vulnerable people? These are not hypotheticals. These are things that DHS has already done under your leadership or is trying to do, Secretary Noem. Your policies and actions are so bad that Republican members have been running and hiding from their own constituents, refusing to hold town halls because they know they cannot defend this administration. Republicans are unwilling to defend the Trump administration with the folks back home. So I guess it's down to you to try to do that here today. But you can't defend the indefensible, Secretary Noem. Your department is out of control. On your watch, the department is breaking the law, it's hurting people, and it's making America less safe. The Trump administration is outright lying to the courts and the American people. Just last week, 3 members from New Jersey, all current members or former members of this committee, tried to visit an ICE detention center, which they are permitted to do, as you know, by law, without notice, to conduct oversight after reports of issues at the facility. Instead of following the law, masked ICE personnel stopped and assaulted the members. Then, to make matters worse, instead of launching an investigation into the incident, your department lied to the press about the situation and threatened to arrest members of Congress for doing their job. Absolutely outrageous. It's a sad day for the Department of Homeland Security. Frankly, I've never seen anything like it, and I've served as the lead Democrat on this committee from its start. Even when the Secretary, my Republican colleagues, and I had strong disagreements, we still had productive conversations and did our duty to keep America safe. But that's not the case any longer. My colleagues across the aisle have sold their souls, or at least their spines, to Donald Trump. They try to cover the administration lies and blame Democrats for doing the job our constituents sent us here to do. Republicans have forgotten that Congress is a co-equal branch of government and that the oath we take to the Constitution is the same as the president. Republicans even want to cut Medicaid to fund tax breaks for millionaires. They put their billionaire buddies over the little guys every chance they get. And now you are here, Secretary Noem, with your hand out, looking for more taxpayer money to continue the slash and burn activities of the Department of Homeland Security over the past 100 or so days. Until the Trump administration starts following the law, that's going to be a very, very hard sell. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields. Other members of the committee are reminded that opening statements may be submitted for the record. I'm pleased to have the Secretary of Homeland Security before us today.
It started with a simple recognition, National Police Week, a solemn moment to honor the officers who defended the Capitol on January 6th. But that moment of respect quickly turned into a reckoning. The ranking Democrat didn't hold back. He reminded the room that over 140 officers were assaulted that day, and yet House Republicans still refused to hang the plaque honoring their heroism. And then he turned to Secretary Noem and let loose. 3 months ago, Democrats had demanded Noem testify about how the Trump administration's version of DHS has been systematically dismantling the very agency meant to protect us. Instead, she showed up now, just as Trump is asking Congress for a staggering $176 billion for DHS next year, after burning through this year's budget. The Democrats' message was crystal clear. Why should Congress give you more money when all you've done is tear the place apart? He laid it all out: the cuts, the chaos, the cruelty. FEMA? Gutted. Cybersecurity programs? Slashed. Airport and port security? Downsized. Civil Rights Office, the watchdog that prevents government overreach, dismantled. And while all that's happening, DHS is withholding anti-terrorism grants, deporting veterans, ignoring court orders, and even firing its own career staff for political reasons. In short, the department is breaking laws, endangering Americans, and betraying its mission. Then came the most chilling part, when 3 members of Congress, all from New Jersey, tried to conduct a legal oversight visit to an ICE detention facility. They were physically stopped and assaulted by masked ICE agents. Let that sink in. Members of Congress assaulted by federal agents for doing their jobs. And what did DHS under Kristi Noem do next? They didn't investigate. They lied to the press and even threatened to arrest those same lawmakers. That's not law and order. That's authoritarianism. The Democrats' outrage was palpable and justified. He said he's served on this committee since the beginning, and never has he seen DHS so lawless, so politicized, so reckless. Even when Democrats and Republican secretaries clashed, they at least shared a baseline goal: keeping America safe. Now, under Trump and Noem, it's all about control, fear, and vengeance. Republicans, he said, have sold their souls, or at least their spines, to Donald Trump. They've forgotten that Congress isn't a branch of his campaign. It's a co-equal power sworn to the same Constitution. And while Trump cuts FEMA, DHS, and Medicaid, he and his allies keep giving tax breaks to billionaires and turning our Homeland Security into a political weapon. And so, as the ranking member put it bluntly, if Secretary Noem wants more taxpayer dollars to continue this slash-and-burn operation, she's in for a very hard sell. What we saw in that hearing wasn't just an oversight fight. It was a warning about the future of American governance. When a department meant to protect us starts targeting lawmakers, silencing oversight, and punishing dissent, we're not just talking about broken policy. We're talking about a broken democracy. If you believe DHS should serve the people, not the president, make sure you're part of this conversation. Hit subscribe, tap the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive, like this video to boost it in the algorithm, and drop a comment below with your take on Kristi Noem's DHS. Let's keep exposing the truth, together.